안녕하세요.
담원기아 탑 라이너 너구리 장학원입니다. 패배 요인이 뭐 다양하게 있을 수도 있는데 그냥 실력 차이로 진 것 같다? 네, 실력 차이로 진 것 같습니다. 좀 얘기를 나눠봐야 좀 더 명확하게 나올 것 같은데 아직 대회를 그렇게 많이 진행하진 않아서 뭐 티어 정립을 다시 할 수도 있고 저 뭐 인게임 플레이에 뭐 부족한 걸 찾을 수도 있는데 좀 일단 대화를 좀 해봐야 좀 명확하게 알 수 있을 것 같습니다. 이지와의 경기는 충분히 이길 수 있을 것 같습니다. 거기도 좀 특이한 뱀픽 같은 걸 좀 많이 하는 것 같고 네, 해봐야 알 것 같습니다. 때랑 이제 2020년도 때랑 뭐 지금 2022년 담원이랑은 뭐 핵심은 비슷할 수 있겠지만 결국 선수들도 바뀌고 해서 스타일이 좀 바뀐 것 같아서 아쉬운 경기라고 죄송하고 다음 경기 잘 준비해서 좋은 모습 보여드릴 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
Thank you so much, Nuguri, for introing into our third match of the day, as we'll see whether North America can finally do it. Put that W on the board. We saw that Rogue were able to do so against the LPL before. Can North America succeed against the LCK?
Well, they hit me with the Rise right before this on the break. That's my all-time favorite.
I think if they lose this, they're 0-8. Will we see 9?
Calculations might be a little bit off.
I'm strapped into the desk, so I can't actually leave. It's a little bit off.
I'm sorry, I had to do it, but it's going to be an exciting game. EG really needs to get this win too.
There we go, and Impact.
Top die.
Impact aficionado right there.
Two world champion top laners facing off against one another. And last time around, we saw Nuguri not exactly have the greatest time on that Renekton.
No.
So we'll see whether this can be a better performance for the Damwon Kia top laner up against an EG that is hungry for that first victory in the group stage.
Yeah, the Renekton didn't really work very well for Nuguri. 0-4-0, I think he was. Never really got involved in the team fights. I think deokdam and Kellin had a pretty decent game next to ShowMaker and Canyon. They were putting up a hell of a fight against JDG, and it was a taste of what's to come, really, from this group. So, right into draft we go.
Yep, here we are into pick and ban for third game of the day, LCK versus NA. And Kobe, you've been a little bit quieter than usual. Is it nerves? What is it? Is it just the hopium?
Yeah, I've been dealing it out. I've been dealing it out to everyone else so far today.
Yeah.
And now it's my turn to inhale. I think one of the biggest things would be if by some crazy way, you know, EG could manage to get Impact the Maokai, but that sort of trade here on red side is very difficult to do, and you already see Damwon here. They ban out the Akali, that raises the priority on a first pick Azir.
Yep.
So that might be the only way EG could get their hands on Maokais. They lead that up and the Azir. Damwon, I think ShowMaker would love to snatch that up. They've already banned out one of JoJo's most preferred counters, the Akali. The Sylas would be the other one. If they really wanted to pinch JoJo, they would also get that one. But if they want to, you know, spread across the other lanes and hit somebody else,
I think that I actually feel like this is Sylas' first pick territory for Damwon Kia, because they love picking that into Azir, even if a lot of the time it doesn't actually go the Sylas' way. It's a matchup that ShowMaker is very confident in.
Well, Sejuani is another champ that's been very high prior in this tournament. Azir looks like it'll be the lock-in for now. Akali is a huge target ban up against Jojopyun, and I wonder if Jojopyun wants to pick Sylas himself. There's the Sejuani that I was just touching on, and it looks like EG are the ones who want to pick that one up. Can go top, can go jungle, similar to the Maokai, a little bit less flexible, but a really solid way of having hard engage.
Yeah, it gives you that front line, and EG, it does signal they want the front-to-back team fight. I think it's a no-brainer for the Sylas. Sylas is one of JoJo's top 2 champions, along with the LeBlanc. Have huge confidence in him on it, and into the Azir is a good matchup, so we'll see if they can actually execute it. It also has innate synergy with the Sejuani melee solo laner, stack up that stun with the passive very quickly as well. Whether it's in Inspired's hands or Impact's hands, though, is yet to be determined.
We've seen really interesting things, especially in the LCK with the Azir versus Sylas. It felt like it was the Sylas was the counter pick at the beginning, and then it evolved into Azir being the counter pick in the end, at least in our domestic region. And we'll see whether JoJo can demonstrate that actually it is a counter pick.
I wonder if this is Aphelios Renata here from Damwon. We saw the Varus Renata similarly up against JDG. Yeah, it is going to be.
Yeah.
It's a very Damwon thing to do, I think, here, picking up this bot lane. And I feel like Damwon's bot lane, they were picked up from Nongshim, deokdam, and Kellin last year, and they were excelling in the bot lane on specific picks like Varus, Aphelios, engaged supports like Leona, Nautilus. I feel like this meta shift away from hyper carry and enchanted support has really benefited the Damwon bot lane, and they're going to early prioritize that there.
Yeah, I've been loving Aphelios. for bottom lane, Aphelios is the most picked AD carry and very, very high win rate, highest win rate, I do believe, as well. So whenever you hit those two bullets, definitely a really good pairing as well with Renata. Shout out to Lehens there.
Ezreal.
Wow, an interesting choice. We've seen in the past things like Aphelios picked into Ezreal when it was a very different meta. However, not going to be the case.
I wonder if they'll try and pick up, you know, like a Karma or something alongside it too, then to really invest in that poke. As far as the bans though, since they have the early Sejuani, you might be thinking like a Trundle or something, start to whittle down, you know, on some possible jungle champion pool here. It's that and top lane that we'll be aiming at.
I think the three supports I'm thinking of for EG here are Ezreal Leona, Ezreal Karma, Ezreal Rakan would be the three ones I'd be looking at here. Maybe that was a communication of, we have enough supports here to go 4-5, let's prioritize AD. They don't really fancy themselves, things like the Varus, and they want to keep the Sejuani flex alive for a top jungle until last pick, till they get a little bit more information on Damwon's draft. There's the Poppy Band coming out up against Canyon. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like a Trundle as well.
Yeah, I like that. An interesting situation to put them in as well, because you can just ban away the Karma, and then I think you don't have enough pressure with something like a Rakan next to the Rakan. You can just get run over.
Definitely respecting the flex pick here, banning away the Viego. Definitely has been super highly prized, this dueling champion, especially being able to fight around those Rift Heralds really early. So they hit back at Inspired.
So last ban here for EG. Damwon, like you said, thinking that maybe that Sejuani is going towards that top side, and it's going to be a Camille ban. So I wonder if this is some kind of Gnar here for EG on 4. We'll see where the Sejuani goes, but could also be a Camille ban against Nuguri, target ban. It's one of his best champions. It's one of his favorite champions.
I think it's a good assumption from Damwon, though, you know, thinking that the Sejuani is going to go top lane. So protecting themselves here, and that assumption kind of backed up as well.
And EG with a team that kind of pushed themselves into a corner in their draft against G2. They drafted so much playmaking that if they didn't have agency in the game, then they really seemed to struggle. Right now, they've got a little bit of a balance with the Sejuani being that tank top laner. The Ezreal will do well in the mid game. There's the Ezreal Karma we were touching on to get a little bit of bot push. Bard is another one that could work. It's good against immobile carries and range supports and things like that if you want to make easy picks, but it just makes the lane phase a little bit difficult, and he will need to roam around to leave the Ezreal in isolation, but we'll see what they bring.
Oh, there it is!
It is going to be the Bard.
Vulcan had a Smurf Bard game as well this year, so let's see if they can utilize it. It does so many things for your draft too. In addition to, of course, the roaming that everybody looks at, it lowers the value on Rift Herald comparatively to these dragons if Vulcan can match him and immune one of the towers as they try and pop it too. So let's see about the push through here. LeeSin still left up for Canyon. Canyon just so diversified as a jungler.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It feels like every pick you're like, oh, it's Canyon's this, Canyon's that, but he just kind of plays everything. Bard is our 99th champion at Worlds 2022.
Ooh, are we going to get the 100th in this draft, I wonder? There's 2 more picks for that.
Breaking records, baby.
And it's the top laner here for Nuguri. Jayce is one of his specials. I mean, you think of Nuguri, you think of GP, Jayce, Camille.
Wow.
It's going to be the lock-in of the Jayce. Now, EG have a few options. Do they put the Sejuani top? Do they put a jungle and try to counter the Jayce with things like a Malphite, perhaps? You know, something really tanky and beefy just to deal with that lane.
Horse being considered. That would mean the Sejuani's going into the top lane inspired, going to jump on the Hecarim this time around. A fun draft from EG here. A lot of mobility and a lot of lockdown and preparation for a lot of these fights that could be happening. Tempered Fate really does change the game a lot.
Yeah, I think one thing though, they're very scared about Damwon's early game because Damwon have all these pushing lanes. You know, the Jayce for sure, try and push up on this Sejuani, Azir onto Sylas. It's going to be very precarious as far as jungle invades. If you have pushing lanes for Canyon, try and set up for him to go for some invades and find Hecarim. Hecarim is one of these junglers you can try and attack early while he's on his own camp.
What I will say for Damwon is this is a full range champion comp, right, with a LeeSin. So getting picked off can be very easy. If the Hecarim, the Sejuani, and the Sylas can get on top of these ranged champions, they're going to have a very hard time kiting back. The benefit is the Renata ult will be strong into these 3 divers. They need to look for picks with Bard and flanks with things like the Sejuani or the Sylas to kind of gap close onto these 4 ranged champs.
Yep, one of the last times I watched Canyon playing into a Hecarim, I lost all my hair, gentlemen. He managed to gap Peanut in a pretty ridiculous way. But for EG fans, I lost all my hair because they didn't win that game. So there is still hope available. Very interesting drafts, though, to come out here. And the Jayce coming in for Nuguri, definitely one of his signature picks from the past. It's time to jump onto Summoner's Rift and see whether EG can pick up the first win for North America, the World Championship here today.
Yep, this Damwon team, they've got a ton of damage, but they're going to rely on a lot of outplays. The LeeSin kick, the Azir shuffle, and the Renata ultimates. If Evil Genius can avoid those 3 ultimates, or at least maneuver around them, then they can get that engage and look for that kill.
Well, Prime Gaming, gentlemen, giving away 150,000 RP to several lucky fans every single day of Worlds. You can head over to primegamingworlds22.com to enter and make sure to put in today's secret code to get bonus entries. For more information, you can use that !point Prime Gaming in the chat.
That's a lot of RP. A lot
That
of
is.
skins that you could pick up that all these players are using right now. Power Rider Sejuani, the best one on Sejuani.
Oh, by the way, Jayce, Jayce hadn't been picked or banned so far at Worlds. So
Oh,
100.
has he not?
We did
it
it.
100. We hit 100 champions.
We should have been more excited, but we just probably assumed.
I knew that either Nuguri or Jayce would pick it.
Yeah, right?
At least once this tournament, for sure.
I've already looked up Jayce stats so far, so I'm like, oh yes, well surely he was played in Blades, and I just missed the game.
So this is it for North American fans, for EG fans, just trying to turn the ship around here at Worlds 2022. Yet to pick up a win, but this could be the one to do it in. Would be a very important one to do it in, to join the race for the first 2 spots in the group. And Nuguri's gone for the cull in this lane, no phase rush either, so once he's locked down, that's it, he's in the thick of it.
Yep. That's not one to take notes for. That is a Nuguri thing, not a Jayce versus Sejuani thing.
He's always in there.
Yeah, he will take the cull no matter what. That's a great Arctic Assault there from Impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nuguri still gets a minion, and he's got the push going as well. Range advantage here. Wants to get the push early on, then he can start dipping into these brush, avoid even ranged minion autos changing back. It should be a full clear for Inspired. Again, Hecarim, you almost always want to go for this full clear, especially if you think you are protected. You'll go 2 points in your Q for an even quicker full clear, and not even put your point into your E until you get to that level 4 off of your Krugs. There is a ward over the back of the Raptor pick here from ShowMaker, so they know the timing for this Hecarim. Looks like Inspired will be able to get the power clear done on Hecarim. Feels quite nice.
Full clear on Hecarim is the go-to really on this kind of farming jungler. Nuguri, you're trading really hard onto Impact there. And when you think of Nuguri Pass and Damwon Pass, they like to prioritize things like the Twisted Fate to help out this lane, but it's only the jungler that can look for Impact now on towards this top side.
And this is a perfect example of what I was talking about with the 3 pushing lanes for Damwon from the tri-view. This is the scariest part about the draft for EG. They get pushed in top, harassed, pushed in mid, harassed, pushed in bottom, harassed. And they've got a jungler that just about to get 4. Nice.
Yeah, so Inspired actually going to be a little bit stronger, I guess, as far as experience is concerned against Canyon, as now Nuguri gonna have to back away. Acceleration Gate will create some distance. Oh, right at the very edge. And now Canyon is just gonna be flashing forward. Impact in so much trouble. First blood goes down, but immediately it's gonna be answered. Now Nuguri gonna have to get out of there. Flashes, Inspired's under the turret, but he isn't going to fully commit. The Nuguri will escape. It's still 1 for 1.
Yeah, that's actually quite good for Evil Geniuses, considering that was one of the scariest parts of the game for me for this draft, having them all push in. Inspired comes away with the kill here on the Hecarim. This is a carry champion, fellas. Let's see if the jungle carry can come through.
Oh, Ignite's used towards the bottom side. Kaori is actually very, very healthy, but he gets Gravitummed. And deokdam just going to back away for now. Diving as this duo is difficult.
And Kaori just TP'd back to lane, so that stings even more. I think as he landed, he E'd forwards, but he's just lost 60% of his health bar.
Yeah, I think the other sting here for Evil Geniuses is that Nuguri got that kill on the side of Dom1 and has the pushing lane yet again for the Jayce, so he's going to be a brutal up here. Here's another look at it. The benefits of finishing your clear so fast here. Inspired level 4 to level 3 on Canyon, procs the phase rush. But then, as you know, Canyon goes right in on the Sejuani.
So, impact, no Q, no flash. So, Canyon saying here, hang on a second, if I flash Q this guy, we can get the kill. Inspire blocks it though, and he's top actually behind
All right,
Nuguri.
he's just canted behind the turret. Nuguri now going to have to try and get back to it. Permafrost is great. Winter's Drop. Inspired locks down another for EG.
Beautiful camp there for Inspired. He goes back, he buys the steel caps play, rank 2 boots immediately for the Hecarim, and goes straight through the tower.
Picks up the kill, no flash, pushes him back into the Sejuani. The base damage is there to pick up the kill, and this helps the Sejuani lane out so much. Canyon's on the bot side, though. We'll see if he can get these camps. Vulcan's on the way to mark him.
Exactly, because they know you did a full clear. You're upsetting the expectations of where the Hecarim is going to be. You think, oh yeah, he'll just go back for his second clear of his camps, but camping on the top side of the map.
Oh, okay, Vulcan is fighting Canyon, though. I don't think that's going to be a really fair one, but he is barred. Bard can do some pretty crazy things. It is still going to be the Gromp stolen away by Canyon.
I love it. He's doing as much as he can to defend Inspired's jungle. Even ignites him there.
Yeah,
the
I like
ignite
it.
onto Canyon. Get off this Gromp. It's not going to be enough, and it's still going to be the Dragon started up here for Dom1. They're paying the price of the top side camp.
And we see the clear game plan coming out from both sides. EG, heavy focus top side. Give up bot lane, basically, and Canyon's identified that, well, we lose 2v2 top, it's going to be very hard for us to win, especially at level 6 against Hecarim Sejuani with Ignite up. Let's start stacking Drakes, let's start to get deokdam ahead on this Aphelios.
Yeah, I can't emphasize enough how powerful now these buffs on the Dragon are ever since the changes they made after the durability patch. So those Dragons definitely are going to go a long way. Early mounted Dragon, but here's another look at it. The route that Inspire took, you can see it's over the control ward, over that Scuttlecraft speed, and then right into the gank because he knew he got the advantage of the flash there on Nuguri with the last play. Up against the wall, there's no way he's going to be able to dodge out on that W, so Impact lays it through with the Sejuani, they pick it up.
Yep, absolutely nothing that Nuguri could do, but this time around, at least he managed to pick up a kill, much better than the last game, and he's on the Jayce as well, so he's just going to continue to push. Couple of plates go down towards that bottom side, though, and this is the problem, right? This is deokdam's Aphelios. He's the best player of this champion in the LCK, bar none. I think that is our opinion. Some would argue that Gumyushi's certainly up there, but deokdam certainly did so
Level
extraordinarily well with this champion. Inspired coming down towards that bottom side, looking to attack the Aphelios lane, but not able to get anything done just yet.
Yeah, and when you are accelerated like this on the jungle Hecarim, you know, for Evil Geniuses, definitely looking for Inspired to go one of the carry builds here, especially because there's no tanks, no health builders really on Dom1. LeeSin gonna build a bit of health, but besides that, definitely gonna get so much more value out of like the Trinity Force, the Stridebreaker, the Eclipse builds, any of those things for the Hecarim.
Jojo's picked up an Emperor's Divide. He's going to take it back to ShowMaker here in this mid lane, who has just been quietly accruing about a wave of a CS lead, but from what we've seen from Jojo's health bar, it's been extraordinarily low most of this game, but he's still kept within touching distance.
Yeah, we talked about the Azir Sylas briefly in draft. He's going to get pushed in and see if he can impact the map if Inspired decides to pay a visit. What I will say is in the in-game chat, Damwon is spamming Nuguri's flash, their own top laner's flash, and basically saying, I think the comms are, Canyon will play topside when Nuguri has flash because then they can maybe outplay the Hecarim Sejuani. Right now it's very tough, but Canyon just leveled up on that bot wave. He's lying in wait on this pink ward, but it doesn't spot the ward that Vulcan just put down. We'll see if they commit for any kind of dive shenanigans here. Well, Canyon's there now.
They're definitely going to do so. There's the kickback. Handshake is going to be comboed, and Vulcan will be taken down. That's a lot of chakrams. Oh, arcane shift forward there from Kaori, holding onto the flash for now, but Canyon is just going to bully him away. Q is going to connect, gets out of the turret range. Let's see whether the juggle's going to work. Absolutely it is, as Canyon backs away after the double.
Inspired, gonna go for the chase, try and answer.
He runs pretty quickly. There's the safeguard, another handshake. Kellin so good. The flash from deokdam's going to come forward. Looks like Inspired is going to be able to pick it up. Q connects onto Jojo, and Canyon's not going to follow it.
Pretty good execution there from Dom1 on a tight timing as Hecarim was going back to the topside camp. Took him a long time to get there. EG do get one back though, and this one goes on to Jojo. This Sylas, such a big pick for him and for Evil Geniuses overall, so maybe they can put that gold to good use. But Damwon ahead 1,000 gold now, and the Dragon. It's into roam mode here for Vulcan to try and salvage.
Yeah, looking for Nuguri. Maybe if they can blow his flash, then the Herald setup becomes a whole lot easier. Jojopyun has the TP up very soon, but he's going to run to lane. But we'll see this one again here, but this dive from Damwon was flawless. Canyon just jumps over this wall here, knows it's watered in river, comes around the side, kicks Vulcan in. Getting Vulcan down is the hard part because he's very healthy, he has flash, he can be very mobile in getting away, but it's kick into handshake, flashes out, deokdam then tanks after Kellin drops, they get the initial kill, and then Canyon just standing on top of Kaori with his Q waiting for deokdam and Kellin to be ready for the redive.
Exactly, and Kaori had already used the Arc and Shift 4 to try and get the counter kill on the deokdam. His Ezreal ult isn't going to get him there as Kellin flashes out with the tower aggro on him. This whole dive, too, with the Aphelios on red-white guns here, where they're coming back, and he has no flash.
In the meantime, deokdam in a whole host of trouble. He's going to try and get some work done to bail out. I don't think he's going to work, and it's absolutely not. There's the shutdown on the deokdam's Aphelios.
Jojo with the roams, the Sylas, trying to be the difference maker in this game and pull it back for Evil Geniuses. They do punish the flashless Aphelios. See about the push in there from Azir, because ShowMaker on the Azir does not follow, tries to get in. He's already worked off one turret plate for himself and getting quite fed. Here comes another cannon minion into the tower.
So Inspired just took the base, and Canyon hasn't started the Herald up just yet. He's hovering behind ShowMaker in case any plays be made. Vulcan again now leaving this lane. Once Kaori gets this kill, he has TP back up. He's got the bot push in. You can see the Ezreal just used to make sure it crashes. He's fine in isolation, as we talked about in draft. He can be very happy farming on a tower. They've already lost 3 plates, but if Vulcan can find plays on this map to shut down the Jayce or the Azir, that could be crucial. Pings on the Herald right now from Damwon, but right now they're on the bot side of the map. Canyon just shadowing behind Kellin, who has no flash. Needs to be very careful in making sure their bot lane is safe to contest this wave.
Yeah. You can see that Vulcan just chilling out in the river at the moment, collecting some chimes and things like that. That does mean Kaori is going to be by himself. Hex Drake up and available. 11 minutes for the second one is pretty early, to be honest, for Drake number 2.
And look at the Sejuani right now. Impact is coming out of base through mid lane. He wants to cover Dragon and then use his teleport back to the top lane to try and stop Nuguri. Nuguri going for the recall here. This could be, if Impact gets here, numbers advantage.
But position. Yeah, Canyon's just been standing there for a really long time.
Impact flank.
All right, in goes Canyon. He has his eyes on the Dragon, but the team fight might be picked up here by EG. They take down the mid laner. They take the Dragon themselves. deokdam is very dangerous at this point in time. Inspired's going to fall, but KIA needs to get more if they want to win this fight. Impact now on the wrong side of this large wall, but he's still going to be able to Arctic Assault away, and I'd say that's a big win for EG.
Huge there. Impact the flank from the Sejuani comes out down mid lane on the reset. Kaori though.
Nuguri just going to dive on top of him. Another auto will be picked up there. Gets the flash as well as KIA looking to take even more.
Oh my god, the Jayce mechanics. He buffers his E on the Ezreal, so he knocks him slightly back in range for auto attacks there and has the W to chase him down. Kaori tries to flash there at the end, but the auto attack's already coming through. Pings on the top side now. I don't think the action's over just yet. Canyon sprinting towards this Herald. Jojopyun's on the top side. Vulcan's coming out of base. That's the next objective to fight over.
Oh man, we need to collect ourselves after that one, as it's a 1,000 gold lead in one direction, but the kills are even. Let's check this fight again.
Beautiful flank from Impact. Absolutely amazing to land onto ShowMaker. It looks great for EG, but this hostile takeover, I think, slows EG down too much so that they can't get Canyon instantly in the fight. So he manages to get in the pit, dash away. Inspired goes a bit too far here and gets rooted up.
And you saw deokdam had the Infernum ultimate, did so much damage there to the front line. Basically every other member of EG was already out of the fight. Big chunk there. And then Kaori straggles into lane a little bit too far versus Nuguri. Nuguri sees his angle, flashes in, knocks him back. So even after that, he still gets it in. When you flash like that, the auto was already in the air for Nuguri. The only way you can break that damage is if you flash into the Fog of War. If you're still in vision there, it's going to land every time. He gets the kill.
Yeah, it's a very weird knockback on Jayce. It's a very, very weird one.
All right, we
still-
did get the Infinity Edge for Inspired. He's going for that carry Hecarim
Triforce.
build. Triforce. Infinity
Edge.
Edge.
Like an Infinity Edge as well.
Oh,
That sounds
That
exciting.
sounds really exciting. We've seen Infinity Edge rushes in the LEC before, so yeah, that was on a wreck side though. This time Hecarim gonna get the Triforce, but Herald's up. Plates are falling off in 20 seconds, and this is still the first Herald, so a little bit less valuable in terms of plate gold and Inspired's on the enemy Raptors, so I think Damwon are saying enemy jungler's bot side will pick this one up. Nuguri can't really lane bots right now. I think he'll get dove, so he's joining his team.
All right, well, Kellin thinking about actually trying to get a bit of damage onto Jojopyun here, but Herald going to get taken here by Canyon, or attempted to, as yeah, he's going to be able to secure it, but can he get the eyes? The question, looks to try and get out. Hostile takeover is massive yet again, but Inspired dives forward. There's the Tempered Fate. Who's going to be able to win in the end, though, as Nuguri picks up one kill onto the Sylas, but Canyon also falls down. ShowMaker just collects the eyes, says no more of this funny business. Let's see if we can take a turret.
What a scramble. These fights are so close. Another one-for-one fight here. Canyon was able to finish off and hit the eyeball plus smite the Herald, so they got the kill gold for the Herald. And as well, the eyeball was then picked up by ShowMaker, so Damwon get the objective. Impact here on award.
Nuguri actually walking as if he didn't know that he was there. I don't think he's going to be able to kill the Sejuani at this point in time, but still, cute to try and get a bit of damage. Inspired also walking over a ward, but he knows exactly what's going on there. Impact's going to back away. Nuguri safe for now, as he does have a minion wave and a turret very close.
So Nuguri now 3-1 on this Jayce. We'll take a look at this fight again. I'm not sure how I feel about this bot ultimate, so we'll see it again. Canyon gets the Herald initially, but it's Inspired and Jojopyun that get hit by the hostile takeover. And I think that Vulcan thinks ulting here is good to stop them from being, well, basically hitting each other. And then as it finishes, we see the ult come out from Inspired to get a 3-man fear, but then the ult lands from Vulcan. I wonder what the follow-up would look like if the fear connected and Impact joined the fight. Anyway, 1-for-1, Jojopyun falls, Canyon falls, Kellin gets away with a flash over the wall, and then ShowMaker picks up the eye.
That was one of those self-deny Bard ultimates there. Didn't get the duration for the fear off of that two-person play, but EG on the reset. Dragon coming up in 50 seconds. Already Damwon have established pushing on bottom side. I think the Aphelios just finishes up that turret. Deokdam on this Aphelios has been so rich here. He can finish up bottom turret well in advance of the arrival of Dragon, which helps them move in. You see Kellin right now getting that vision set up.
Yep, able to move himself down there, and ShowMaker also able to get that charge into the mid lane, not able to grab plates with it, but still will have that one very, very close to becoming a Sun Disc and expanding Damwon KIA's realm of control. Kaori needs to be a little bit careful here, but Arcane Shift is going to get the Ezreal to safety, but not going to be able to get the turret to safety, as that doesn't have an E, unfortunately.
And they can place the Azir tower here with 10 seconds on the Dragon, so that'll help them so much in getting the mid push. But we've got a base coming out here from deokdam and Kellin as ShowMaker's pushing this mid wave. EG looking for an angle. They can always ult the tower there and just dive ShowMaker, so he maybe thinks he's a little bit safer than he actually is. Don't have enough vision to work with. I don't think they know that deokdam's in base, but Jojopyun's on the side. They could collapse here. Damwon in the river first.
Yeah, they had a little bit of a window there if they had perfect information, but it goes aside. The mid wave pushed in too. See ShowMaker gets those minions all the way to the mid tower. They start dying, so Kaori actually arcane shifts over to them. That was the ultimate from... Oh, okay, it was just stolen.
Yeah.
It was about to time out there for Sylas.
I was a bit confused about the hostile takeover as well. It was the hijacked version.
That thing timing out, so just throws it away.
EG just in a choke right now. It hurts a little bit because the Jayce QE will always land and they'll get poked out. They need to find a better avenue into this Dragon Pit. Going through bot is what Inspired saying here. Let's just push bot wave and look for angle. But Kaori has the TP. He's in mid wave. He's going to have to TP on that pink if he wants to join the rest of EG in contesting this objective. They managed to go through bot. They have a little bit more space to work with, but the Dragon is almost down already.
Tempered Fate is going to land onto the Aphelios. This could be big, but EG, not a lot of follow-up at this stage. Canyon takes a lot of damage. Inspired looks to just get rid of Nuguri. They pile in on top. The Drake looks to be the priority for Damwon KIA, but is Nuguri going to be able to survive this one? Canyon deciding that he just wants to come and help out his top lane. A hostile takeover defensively, and the heist is completed. Damwon KIA just walk away with the Drake. Don't look for the fight.
Yep, they get it, and they get out alive. That is 2 dragons for Damwon. Evil Genius is there. You can see the call from Inspired. Hey, well, they focus Dragon. Maybe we can get a pick and then run down the fight. Play for the fight. It's only Dragon number 3 here, so it's not too close to stacking, but they could not get that kill. Nuguri escapes on the Jayce with his flash. He knocks him back, gets over to Canyon, and they get the peel with the LeeSin ultimate. Jojo is ready to go in with that stolen Azir ultimate as well, but could not find the distance for the chain to get the play.
Yeah, the call from EG was kill the Jayce and then take the fight from there. Nuguri managed to kite it out, despite the Hecarim ult landing on top of him and getting pushed back into the Sejuani. The ult was already used from the Sejuani onto Canyon to try to push him out of that Drake pit. Vulcan tried his best with the Bard portal to chase him down, but Canyon saves the day. So, map state right now, push in lane from bot, from Damwon, and their next objective will be this top tier one. I think ShowMaker will be looking at that one. There's another ult used, but they'll be eyeing up that top tower.
Yep.
And Canyon will try to shadow.
Yeah, Kenny now just going back to his jungle, clearing out the camps where he can find them. A little bit of a lull state here in this part of the game, as I will learn how to speak English, I assure you. 1 minute until the Baron is up and available. No team with enough of an advantage to lock that one down. There's good vision here from EG as Canyon testing the waters. Inspired will spot him out as Nuguri paying a lot of respect to Impact here in the bottom lane.
I'm not sure why Damwon's really bot side. I think they've just realized now that this bot tower is dead. They can't defend it, and ShowMaker's getting top tower. They're not playing to the pushing lane, but they just all ran through mid to get there. Tempered Fate's gonna miss on
Jojo
the
flank?
Yeah, Jojo looking for the flank with that Tempered Fate as he picks up the kick as well. Avoided by deokdam is fantastic. He's got the chakrams and they do so much damage. It's Canyon that locks down the kill there onto the Sylas, and now Damwon KIA can push further forward. They've got a minion wave. True Shot Barrage sails by majestically, but does not do a lot of damage. Canyon locks down the red buff and is now looking to assist the rest of his team. deokdam off to the side, Calibrum in hand.
Aphelios with the white gun, so much damage there. Jojo tries to get the flank on him, but deokdam's able to avoid the stolen LeeSin kick, and he just melts Jojo inside the Raptor pit. Damwon will push for another turret.
deokdam having flash there really helped the reposition. Jojo couldn't lock him down. And Damwon get that mid tower, like you said. So now moving towards this Baron. I don't think they can start it up, but they want to put a little bit of vision down. EG should know that they're in this area. They don't really want to face check anything, but Damwon are on base timers. This could be a window for EG to set up a little bit of vision. 2 minutes on the next Drake will be a Cloud Soul.
I love it.
You love
We
it.
haven't had very many of them. I believe there was a Cloud Soul.
Hey, I picked
In,
Hex
one of the
Dragon
games.
for my
I know,
ball.
you and Jack, you are definitely huge brains, but I'm committed to my love of the Cloud Soul.
Vulcan.
I have to get in there as Vulcan. In a bit of trouble. Canyon looking to try and get some cooldowns out from the Bard. Tempered Fate going to be avoided yet again. Inspired's press W,
No flash.
and that means that he is pretty tanky. There's the ulti forward. Nuguri in a whole host of trouble, and he will just be taken down. No help from the rest of the team, and I thought maybe it would come forward, but no one was really in position to help out.
Big pick for EG there. Shut down onto the Hecarim. We'll see if they can push for more. They need to get that top wave in so they can look for the top tier 1. They can't look for a Baron, but it looks like they're just going to back away. Jojo's on the way up there now. Maybe if they push the wave a little bit early, they could have looked for an objective. They won't translate it into anything just yet, but that's a death stance on the Hecarim.
Yeah, and deokdam also just got his recall off. He's got his completed Bloodthirst with the upgraded boots and Gale Force here for the Aphelios. So he gets right back out for the reset. There's no extra play on this. There's no dive on ShowMaker, you know, no flirting around with Baron to try and get some summoner spells out of a turn. Instead, it is going to be all eyes, 50 seconds towards this next dragon. Because they made the call for the fight in the last one and gave the second dragon over to Damwon, this one starts to get a little bit scary here as Damwon want to continue stacking. First things first, though, the push on the side wave up on top lane. Recall out there for ShowMaker first, and Jojo's going to walk his way down.
Ooh, Canyon needs to be careful of a face check here as he looks for Vulcan with the Q. Winter's Wrath not going to connect. True Shot Barrage once again, not going to hit the mark as Kellin just wanders his way out.
A lot of tenacity on that LeeSin. Impact can't really lock him down. 20 seconds on the spawn. A base coming in from Kaori. He has the TP, but
Frost, pretty good there. As there's the kick flash from Canyon, and once again, Jojopyun's going to fall down. This could mean that Damwon KIA can just take themselves this mid-wave under their control and now look for that soul point, which is so important for that map control.
deokdam has been so good. He starts out there with a Gravitum gun, replying to Jojo's attempt with his Everfrost, and it's instant reaction from Canyon. He does not hesitate. LeeSin flash, kicks him in, gets the pick. There will be no fight over this dragon.
Oh, does nail it with the True Shot Barrage that time around. Gets rid of the Bloodthirster shield, but there is the soul point that we were talking about. Baron's still up and available. Damwon KIA with no vision of the area at this point in time as Inspired is pushing in the top lane.
yeah, a bit frustrating for EG. They're not getting a cross map here, so maybe Inspired things going to force this. ShowMaker, not going to get the ult. The unstoppable from the Hecarim, but the next focus for Damwon is bots.
Yeah, Impact taking at least half of his health buff, and now pretty tanky is the Sejuani at this point, especially with deokdam not in the area, so will survive and gets rid of the minion wave as well. Jojopyun coming Coming down, seeing whether he can try and find the angle. Oh, brilliant! Glacial Prison to come forward from Impact. Tempered Fate connects onto 3. Can they line it up? Hostile takeover. Kellin just waits for it. Handshake is brilliant as well. The defensive play has been fantastic as Inspired looking to deny DWG KIA their exit. There's the magical journey just to follow through, and now DWG KIA trying to get themselves back into position to win themselves a team fight. They have to fight to get out, and it looks like they're very well prepared to do so. Vulcan down extremely low. Both of these supports can't really battle anymore. DWG KIA are allowed to leave.
That was so close. In the end, the reinforcements arrived just in time. They usher Kellin out with only 100 HP left after that ultimate tags him, and they have to retreat.
Oh, it must be so frustrating for EG. They could have got a few kills there. The fight was great. The temper fade onto deokdam. Kellin so low, and they were chasing them down with the barred portal, but they get nothing from that play. The poke from the Jayce pushing them out of the fight, and deokdam wants Aphelios when he's untouched and has room and space to work with. It's so hard for EG to lock him down. Baron is up. Canyon's on this crab. We'll be able to pick it up with the smite if he sees Inspired.
Yeah, they are closing in onto Canyon, who is there for quite some time. Safeguard's going to get him out. ShowMaker in the area. And Glasc will save the LeeSin, at least for the moment. So, EG with a bit of control around this Baron pit. True Shot Barrage starting to land. I feel like Kaori's really got his eye in this point of the game.
First strike farming, baby. Got to stack up that gold.
Ooh, yeah.
Get as much as possible. And Kaori's recovered pretty well, I would say, despite that lane phase being so brutal. Now he's 2-2-1 against Ezreal, up in CS against deokdam, even in experience. But it's ShowMaker that's a big problem right now. Jojopyun's not really been farming too much. They've been trying to force these plays. Needs to catch a couple more side waves. Has 2 items, though. Mid-game spike there for the Sylas. Just the Azir will only get scarier and scarier. 2 levels up now is ShowMaker, and Canyon is found Inspired, who's also 2 levels up, farming up the Storm up against this LeeSin.
Nuguri finding a lot of good poke, very high value here with the Jayce as well. In the disengage on bottom side, the shock blast here sort of warding off evil geniuses. Another big one lands as well. The difference here in the poke gonna mean a lot. Kaori trying his best here on the Ezreal with the ults, trying to weave in some of these mystic shots, but DWG have the control ward up on Baron.
If they want to, they can do Baron extraordinarily quickly. In the last game, we were talking about Barons being relatively slow. This time around, Barons on both sides, honestly, are pretty quick.
Especially because, look, deokdam is going for the Infinity Edge next. Gale Force into the Bloodthirster, into Infinity Edge. He's not going for armor penetration. You know, he just doesn't want to go through the front line. He wants to kill Jojo again or go for the Ezreal.
Yeah, well, Impact slinks into the river here. Jojo just going to be pushing out this top lane. You can see a lot of darkness, honestly, on both sides. I mean, Vision hasn't really been the aim for the last little while. DWG KIA do have 1 minute 30 on the Cloud Soul point.
Their sights are set towards the future for the Dragon Soul arrival because it gives you so many more options. If EG play too much to Dragon side, you can make the Baron play. As you said, Atlas, Aphelios Azir can melt that thing, or they can actually go for the Soul.
DWG need to be careful of this Ezreal. Kaori just transformed a Vamp Scepter into that Hydra. What does deokdam have in base here? Does he have the full Infinity Edge? No, it's going to be a crit cloak and a pink. So for this next Soul fight, I think Kaori might be a little bit stronger than deokdam. This could be EG's window to get a gold lead, to get back into this game, to win a fight and look for a Baron. They need to set up some kind of sneaky vision right now. It looks like Vulcan's fishing around here with Inspired and Impact, trying to look see if they can place any wards down, but if EG have a chance, it is in this next 40 seconds. They need to be careful that DWG don't just rush a Baron, you know. Yes, it is their sole point, but they can't afford to just mismatch you as you put so many resources on this bot lane. You can see 3 members of EG down there. They could turn and burn Baron if they have that information.
Yep, Kaori can't get caught out, but of course does have Arcane Shift. So, Ezreal going to be relatively safe, trying to at least answer some of these lanes as teleport to come forward, and DWG are just wanting to regroup. Nuguri, is he going to face check? Oh, they actually maneuver themselves out. Okay, I love the vision toggle. It really does keep you on your toes. As Nuguri not going to die this time around. Q doesn't connect, and now we've just started the river ramp. Come through, gentlemen.
Kaori's going to have to teleport. He's so separated right now. He's coming in towards the tri-brush here to join the rest of the team. It's mid-push versus bottom push. EG take the bottom side of the river, and it's a standoff.
This is it. Battle lines are drawn over the wall, looking for an engaged poke wars between the Jayce and the Ezreal. Dragon started up, Inspired. Won't take too much damage from the first one. Crown procced from ShowMaker. That helps the fight a little bit. Dragon down to 8k, Impact still fishing for that ult. He's on vision though, so Vulcan's gonna sweep that one out. Where's the Tempered Fate gonna go? That could disrupt the fight for Damwon.
Yeah, or secure the Dragon for EG potentially. That Shock Blast is going to be denied, and Tempered Fate finds no one. The Dragon's very confused about what to do, and Vulcan takes half of his health bar in damage. Still a relative standoff, but you can see this poke working out so well. Emperor's Divide picked up by Jojo. There's the ult forward, but the Berserk comes through immediately afterwards. Emperor's Divides, both of them coming through at the same time, but Damwon will obliterate this team fight. The Cloud Soul is picked up as well, and they'll march up the mid lane.
Damwon to wipe Evil Geniuses out of the Dragon Pit. They take the Dragon Soul to boot, and it's straight towards the base.
They won the war of attrition. The poke was landing, hitting multiple members. The Temper Fate didn't connect. Inspired missed his ult trying to steal the Dragon. The hostile takeover and ShowMaker made it happen for Damwon.
Yep, and now with 3 dead on EG's side, Vulcan and Kaori trying to save these Nexus turrets. Damwon KIA are looking to try and recover after a difficult first match here at Worlds, or second match, I should say, and are now looking to secure themselves another one. 4 in a row for the LCK, I think.
Yep.
They're back on the horse now as the Nexus goes down.
What a very back and forth game up until that Dragon fight. Yes, EG were a little bit behind, but itemization-wise, I think that they had a chance. Just the poke from Damwon, the setup was stronger. There was even a window there where I thought Nuguri would have been caught. If they stayed in that bush, they could have found it, but that's the power of hindsight, right? They wanted to reposition through bots and group up, but it didn't work out in the end.
Yeah, Nuguri actually doing so much work this game on one of the champions. It used to be huge signature champ for him. A lot of poke damage laid out. And Damwon, they pull it off. The high investment in damage and just playing out around a few key CC ultimates to be able to make space for themselves. Really just constant high level play there from them to come out on top.
It did take a lot of finessing in this game, though. I think that Nuguri was caught out a fair bit in the early stage of the game. There's still a lot to look at here for Damwon KIA as far as continuing up the trend for Damwon KIA, but still an absolutely fantastic game on so many signature picks like you were talking about. But that draft is difficult to pilot if you don't hit a lot of these check marks. So able to get by in the end.
And that's the power of a draft that has winning lanes. If you win the lanes, you're good. But the enemy team might have a better team fighting comp, so you need to be ahead by a certain margin when you arrive to those team fights. Damwon fell behind in the top side, but they then reinvested resources bot, and it was deokdam that got them to the mid game. And Nuguri picked up a few stray kills here and there to get himself back ahead against Impact.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd be if I was watching this game, I'd be worried if I was in T1's group, because what you've done is opened the door to the Zeus Jayce. If Nuguri's allowed to play it, you could imagine that he would too. So it's dangerous times.
Yeah, I really think deokdam played so well this time too on the Aphelios.
Yeah.
You know, very conservative with those cooldowns, multiple times, switching over, perfect gun for either taking tower plates, defending against the flanks and the dives. Nicely navigated by him. And as you can see, poke, of course, especially if you're in a top lane isolated matchup of range versus melee, always going to have the big damage numbers there.
Lethality advantage. You know, it was like when Varus was in the game, especially the mid lane lethality Varus that came out first many years ago. It's just you have to ignore it because it just does way too much damage. Of course, Aphelios doing damage in team fights, and Kaori on the other side actually doing a fair bit as the Ezreal. A bit of poke available to him as well, but just not quite able to hit that critical mass on the side of EG, unfortunately.
Yeah, they never really got a collective dive onto deokdam, you know.
Yeah.
It was only at the end that he really died to the bailout because he died to the Nexus towers, but they needed to find an angle with a Sejuani ult like they did onto ShowMaker in that initial Dragon fight where they can get that first carry pick, because this double carry threat of the Azir Aphelios is so dangerous the later the game goes. And Nuguri, as much as the damage numbers are high from the poke and you can kind of cut it off because it is poke, he was landing some really big shock blast. That last fight, the 4-man shock blast was really big by Nuguri. And then I think once that hit, EG felt forced to engage because they realized the longer this goes on, the worse it's going to get. Let's just try and go. Unfortunately, it missed.
Yeah. It did feel like that fight, though, was potentially going to go either way, to be perfectly honest. Like, that was Damwon KIA finding exactly what they needed in that particular team fight, but I still felt like if the Tempered Fate was to line up, it's just such a weird pick, the Bard, as far as changing the game.
And we saw this versus JDG with EG as well. There was points in the game where they won a massive fight around Dragon. The 5v5 is even coming into the final one, and then it all falls apart.
Yeah. Bard is such a hard champion to get those timings perfectly right and the placement perfectly right for those giant plays for them. Didn't quite come together in this game. I have to say, Damwon, especially with the year that they've had, and the struggles that Damwon had, looking so good here at Worlds once again. Really, reminding me of that World Championship form.
Yeah, no, they are looking absolutely fantastic. The meta's come back over their way, and we're heading over to the stage to join Shox and Nuguri for our Verizon post-game interview.
Thank you very much, Atlas. Indeed, the first thing I want to ask about is, of course, the Jayce pick, which is yet another new pick here at Worlds. Why was it the right time for the Jayce, and why did you pick it?
우선 승리 정말 축하드립니다. 가장 먼저 제이스 픽에 대해서 정말 궁금한데요. 제이스 픽이 등장하게 된 이유, 이 조합에 봤을 때 지금 등장하면 딱 맞다 생각하신 이유가 뭐예요?
징동전을 지고 나서 픽에 대해서 고민을 좀 많이 했어요. 어떤 픽이 우리 팀에 잘 어울릴까? 또 제 성향이 잘 어울릴까 고민하다가 사실 막 엄청 막 정해둔 거 온 건 아니었고 이걸 지금 그냥 해봐야 될 것 같다 느낌이 좀 들어서 근데 사실 헤카림 바뀌었을 때 진짜 너무 무서웠는데 어떻게 잘 풀려서 다행이라고 생각하고 있습니다.
So after losing to JDG, we were going through the draft and picks, what is the best pick for us and especially for me regarding considering my play style. And I wasn't coming here like deciding that I'm gonna play Jayce on stage today, but it was more like we have to give it a go today. We have to try this out today, and it worked out really well. So I'm so relieved. But I was so scared when I saw Hecarim locked in.
Okay, I can understand that, but it worked out. This has been a very diverse world in terms of the amount of things that have been picked and banned. How happy are you with your team's meta read overall?
이번 월즈가 지난 어떤 월즈보다 정말 다양한 챔피언들이 등장하고 계속 다양한 많은 픽들이 나오고 있어요. 그런 만큼 담원기아의 메타 해석에 대해서 얼마나 만족하고 계신가요?
저희 코치님들과 감독님이 이런 메타 해석에 대해서는 정말 뛰어난 분들이라고 생각하고 있어서 저희 팀이 좀 결과는 좀 안 좋을 때가 가끔 있지만 그래도 이 메타 해석만큼은 정말 자신 있다고 생각을 하고 있고요. 네, 그렇게 생각하고 있습니다.
So I'm pretty sure our coaching staff, they have one of the best meta reads around. So sometimes our result doesn't really show, but we're pretty confident.
Yeah, still 2-1. Now, of course, we're really happy to see you back reunited with ShowMaker and Canyon. What is it like being back at Worlds with your teammates?
이제 또 쇼메이커 선수, 캐니언 선수와 함께 이제 다시 월즈를 치르고 계시잖아요. 또 이제 어떠신지 정말 궁금합니다.
여전히 잘하는 친구들이다. 사실 뭔가 바뀐 건 없는 것 같아요. 그냥 오랜만에 만나도 그냥 좀 같이 그냥 계속 하던 느낌. 그래서 그냥 익숙하게 하고 있습니다.
I mean, they're still so good, and even though there was a bit of a time when we were apart, but still when I got back, it was like we were still having this teamwork going on. So yeah, we're doing a great job.
Okay, lovely. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ji-sun, as well. And we'll kick it over to the State Farm analyst desk.
Thank you so much, Shox. Great to hear from Nuguri as he's reunited with his squad. And of all things, to pull out the Jayce in this game as a response to what they were seeing on the side of Evil Geniuses. Tank in the top lane gives him permission. We also have the Bard, so we can't ignore that either. More and more unique picks coming out at Worlds 2022.
It's really, really cool, and it ties into what we've been seeing since the start of play-ins, which is that even with the meta getting figured out a little bit in terms of individual champions, in terms of play styles, I still feel like the playing field is wide open. We see 1-3-1, RNG I think is the best example of this. We see team fighting styles, we see death balls. There's just a lot of options right now, and I'm hoping that continues, because usually meta kind of tend to get stale and solidify as we get deeper into the tournament.
Yeah, but it really doesn't feel like it has any time of slowing down. Like, we're adding 2 new champions to our picks now as well with the Bard and the Jayce. Like, it still feels like you can bring out a ton of different things that can mix things up. And looking at this, I think with the Jayce was a really nice addition, right? It gives you a ton of range here. We could see how well Nuguri was working with the poke in the early stages. And even though we had that Bard trying to get the engage and set things up, it just didn't really look like it was working for EG.
Yeah, it was 98 champions with presence at the World Championship coming into today, and we got 99 with Bard and 100 with Jayce. Jat was the one who called it out backstage. Jayce also happens to be the 100th champion released in League of Legends, so very fitting that he is also the 100th champion to gain presence.
100th game for FLICKR yesterday. We're hitting hundreds across the board here at Worlds.
It's really nice. I'm happy to see all these milestones being hit, and what it means for a meta, and what I really like is that what we've seen is that teams, more and more, especially very successful LPL teams. Shout out to you, DWG.
You mean LEC teams? Very successful.
Well, I mean, as well. More and more have started to kind of find their own identity and then go from there. And I think this was something that Rogue also has mentioned already, which is we're just doing what works for us. And a meta in which that is actually a possibility, I think is incredibly cool.
Yeah, I mean, when we've eclipsed 100 champions, it does definitely dictate the fact that most teams have something available to them that fits their style. And that excites me for the way that we watch those styles clash. When it comes to the gameplay itself in this one, we're first going to take a look at Inspired and what he was able to get done early. While it was a heartbreaking loss for Evil Geniuses, that's not to say that they didn't show up in any way.
Yeah, and it looked good from the get-go, right? We looked at Inspired, it was like, okay, he hits the level 4 with the quicker clear, moves immediately up to top side to make the gank happen, and look, it ends up going with the Sejuani going down for impact, but still manages to get one on the board. And then it becomes a case of, okay, let's go for the repeats. Let's make sure Nuguri is in really painful position on this Jayce, because Jayce is a champion, wants to play forward in the lane, wants to look for plates, and wants to make sure he has the vision to do so. But EG did a really good job of shutting down and playing around that vision, so Nuguri wasn't able to do that.
And in theory, Inspired on the Hecarim with a Bard as well, into an Aphelios did have, I think, great angles to carry, but I think the rest of the team, especially the bottom half of the map, was struggling a lot in lane, so they never really came to fruition. And I want to kind of highlight, because we didn't go about it in the draft earlier, deokdam's career stats on Aphelios. Because obviously this year he's joined DWG KIA, previously was on Nongshim Red Forms, a team which was okay. Across his career, he's 71% win rate, 44 and 18. With an average KDA of 5.5 and a kill participation of 65%.
Over that many games, that is phenomenal.
And that is on Damwon. Obviously, this team has done very well, but Nongshim Red Force was all right.
And this is where I want to take that point and combo it into what we're seeing here, right? That kind of feeling for EG, that they need to do something about the Aphelios and team fight.
And that's what they're trying to do with the Bard, right? We saw that initial play where they tried to get the lockdown. Then you look at here as well, where Inspired tries to go in with the Unstoppable Force, but the Bard hits just in time to keep deokdam safe. And then deokdam was able to step up once more and become this big carry. And this kind of became the story of EG's fights. They would keep trying to find these moments where they could go in, aggressively work with this combo, but unfortunately they just couldn't quite get the synergy there where they'd hit deokdam with the Bard ult, but maybe there was no follow-up, but the follow-up wasn't timed correctly. And then in the last fight they tried to play it patient, but they're just getting poked out entirely by the Jayce.
Exactly, you got Azir and Jayce on that side just poking you down. It's going to force you into a situation where you feel like you have to engage on imperfect terms.
And even though the team fighting comp from EG is very strong, I don't actually think it's that easy to find angles, because with Aphelios, if your dive doesn't work, you immediately lose the fight, because then he can kite back. But into a Renata specifically, especially when bolstered by an Azir, you're like, you need to engage because you're playing into Jayce. So you're losing the neutral, but how are you going to engage, especially straightforward, if your Bard ults don't find a target?
Yeah, and it's hard. It's extra
really
heartbreaking considering that a lot of those champions picked up for EG feel like comfort picks. The Hecarim, 4 Inspired, and the way it started. That was the setup for them to run over that game, get the first win for both themselves in North America, and maybe able to couple it forward into the second round robin.
And I think Inspired had a fantastic game, and it does feel like now we're getting to the point where EG, well, they had a great game against JDG, really pushed them. Now we're looking at a great game here as well. It feels like they're just coming up barely shy of what could be big wins for North America.
I had forgotten about that JDG one, but that makes it hurt even more. That's the twist of the knife right there. Well, the World's 2022 Event Pass has launched, letting fans around the world support their favorite teams on the Rift and in real life. Fans can claim rewards and collect 2022 tokens to exchange for exclusive content like prestige skins and chromas. And to top it all off, 25% of the pass proceeds will be added to the World's 2022 prize pool. We're heading to a break. When we come back, it's RNG versus 100 Thieves, the last hope of North America in the first round robin. We'll see you on the other side.
Yeah, they would love to see that. On my way. GQ fans are now NA fans. True.
Oh, right at the very edge. And now Canyon is just going to be flashing forward. Impact in so much trouble. First blood goes down, but immediately it's going to be answered. Now Nuguri going to have to get out of there. Flashes Inspired's under the turret. Emperor's Divide picked up by Jojo. There's the ult forward, but the Berserk comes through immediately afterwards. Emperor's Divides, both of them coming through at the same time, but someone will obliterate this team fight. The Cloud Soul is picked up as well, and they'll march up the mid lane.
Waking up at midnight, dreaming all day long. Maybe I'm nocturnal, baby, maybe I was wrong. Been on both sides now, looking for you. Don't feel the pain when I'm asleep, find peace in all this blue. It's shake, shake, shaking me to the core. It's break, break, breaking me like waves on the shore. Keep crashing into the truth. With both eyes closed, I'll be right next to you. To you, I'll be right next to you. With both eyes closed, oh, I'll be right next to you. With both eyes closed, oh, I'll be right next to you. Somewhere in the dark, I can feel your heart light up like a constellation. Somewhere in the black, I can feel your hand. Hold on to a love worth saving. Shake, shake, shaking me to the core. It's break, break, breaking me like waves on the shore. Crash, crash, crashing into the truth. With both eyes closed, I'll be right next to you. To you, I'll be right